In the land of Skapta, where warriors are forged in frost and steel, there is a tale whispered among the Ice Lynx Clan. A tale of survival, of transformation, of a warrior who became something more. Her name was Lyria, daughter of the lynx. Born into a lineage of hunters, raised to track through the snow, to move unseen in the white silence. From the time she could walk, she was given a blade, a bow, a duty. Her people, the Ice Lynx, thrived in the heart of the tundra, where winter never truly fades and only the strong endure. And Lyria was strong. But strength alone does not decide fate. The land remembers. The gods watch. And the storm does not care who lives or dies. It began with a hunt. A great frost stag had been sighted near the winter's cradle, its antlers gleaming like spears of ice, its breath curling like mist over the frozen lake. The clan gathered its finest trackers, Lyria among them, and they set forth into the white expanse. But the stag was not alone. The wolves came with the storm, swift and merciless. The snow turned red. Lyria fought, her spear striking true, but the wind howled and the earth beneath her betrayed her footing. She fell. And when the storm passed, her kin were gone. Left behind. Bleeding. Alone. The tundra does not forgive the weak. The cold does not grant second chances. She wandered through the storm, every step a battle against the weight of her own failing body. Ice crept into her veins, exhaustion dragged her to her knees. And then, through the blinding white, she saw it. A cave, its mouth framed by roots frozen in place, twisted like grasping hands. A shelter. A grave. She did not know which it would become. But the gods knew. Lyria did not find a cave that night. She found a temple. Few still speak of the old places, the shrines buried beneath time and silence. But the land does not forget, and the spirits wait for those who listen. At the heart of the cavern stood a statue, ancient and worn, but still fierce, a towering figure with the horns of a stag, the claws of a beast, and eyes carved into eternal watchfulness. Basaj. The Wild Father. God of the untamed, the forgotten, the wilderness that bends to no king. Lyria had prayed before, to the ancestors, to the warrior gods of her people. But Basaj did not ask for prayers. He did not demand offerings of steel or blood. Basaj only waited. And Lyria, with nothing left but breath in her lungs and the fire of survival in her chest, listened. She did not die that night. She did not freeze. She did not starve. The forest watched. The mountain waited. The storm, for the first time in her life, did not try to kill her. The first lesson came with the raven. Perched above her, black as the night, eyes deep as the abyss. It did not speak, yet she understood. Rise. She forced herself to her feet. The second lesson came with the wolf. A golden-eyed hunter, standing at the mouth of the cave. It did not growl. It did not lunge. It watched. And when it turned, Lyria followed. The third lesson came with the wind. It carried whispers, voices older than men. The murmurs of trees swaying in frozen stillness. The song of the lake hidden beneath ice. The sigh of the mountain, ancient and patient. Lyria listened, and she heard. For the first time, she truly heard. The Ice Lynx had taught her to hunt. The spirits of Skapta taught her to see. The land was not dead. It was not empty. It was alive, vast, infinite. Every root and branch, every beast and river, part of a great song that had been playing long before her ancestors raised their first weapons. And for the first time, she did not fear it. She did not fight it. She became part of it. The spirits whispered their names. The raven, the seer, who watched the paths ahead. The wolf, the hunter, who knew the strength of the pack and the solitude of the lone. The bear, the guardian, who carried the storm in his step. They did not command. They did not demand. They offered. Lyria accepted. She was no longer just a warrior. She was something more. The storm that had nearly taken her life became her ally. The beasts that once stalked her became her guides. She moved like the wind, silent and unseen. She called fire from the wood, water from the stone. She became the voice of the land, the hand of the wild, the will of Basaj made flesh. She became a druid. And when she returned to her people, they did not recognize her. Months had passed, and the Ice Lynx clan had mourned her death. They had spoken her name among the fallen, carved her mark into the stone of remembrance. But when she stepped from the trees, flanked by the golden-eyed wolf, the raven upon her shoulder, they knew this was no ghost. She had been lost to the storm. She had been taken by the wild. And she had been remade. Her people asked her, what had she found? What had she become? Lyria did not answer. She did not need to. Instead, she raised her hands to the sky, and the wind obeyed. The roots of the mountains stirred beneath their feet. The beasts of the forest lifted their heads, listening. And the Ice Lynx clan understood. Their warrior had never returned. But Skapta had gained a guardian.